Terrible situation going on over there. 5,000 young people every single week are being killed. So hopefully we did something.
Breaking news shaking the global stage. Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, has just made a bold announcement regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. In a move that's already stirring global headlines, Trump has proposed a surprising strategy aimed at ending the conflict. Whether you support him or not, this message could shift the course of international relations. What exactly did Trump say? And more importantly, can it work? Let's dive into the full story. In a significant policy shift, President Trump has abandoned his previous demand for an unconditional 30-day ceasefire, a stance that had been supported by Ukraine but rejected by Russia. Instead, he has signaled a move towards a more pragmatic approach, focusing on direct negotiations and potential economic partnerships with Russia. This change has raised concerns among European allies, who had hoped that Trump's earlier threats of increased sanctions would pressure Putin into negotiations. Now the question arises, is this a strategic recalibration or a retreat from the U.S.'s previous stance? The turning point came during a 2-hour phone call between Trump and Putin. According to reports, Trump agreed to a limited 30-day ceasefire targeting energy infrastructure, a proposal that Putin welcomed. However, Putin emphasized that any long-term peace agreement would require a halt to intelligence sharing and military aid to Ukraine from its allies. This condition has been met with skepticism in Kyiv and among European leaders, who view it as a significant concession to Russia's demands. Despite these concerns, Trump has expressed optimism, stating that the ceasefire is a step in the right direction. The response from European leaders has been mixed. Countries like France, Germany, and Italy have expressed frustration over Trump's sudden policy shift, fearing that it undermines their efforts to maintain a unified stance against Russian aggression. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also voiced concerns, pointing out that ceasefire talks had already begun in Istanbul the previous week, and that any new initiative should not disrupt ongoing negotiations. The lack of consultation with European allies has further strained transatlantic relations, with some officials describing Trump's approach as inconsistent and unpredictable. Since February 2022, the world has watched in disbelief as Russia's invasion of Ukraine unfolded into one of the most devastating conflicts of the modern era. Thousands dead, millions displaced, and despite sanctions, aid packages, and peace talks, a true ceasefire has remained elusive. World leaders have tried and failed to bring about a sustainable solution. But now, Donald Trump is stepping in with his version of diplomacy, and he's not holding back. Speaking at a high-profile event earlier this week, Trump made headlines when he declared, "If I were president, the war would be over in 24 hours." It's a bold statement, and not the first time he's made it. But this time, he offered more than rhetoric. Trump laid out what he claims is a realistic, tough, and fast path to ceasefire. According to Trump, the key is direct negotiation, with both Zelensky and Putin, something he insists he can facilitate better than anyone. Here's how he described it. "We're going to sit them down, not separately, together. I'll tell them exactly what the deal is. No more games, no more bloodshed. Both sides get something, but the killing stops immediately." The room erupted in applause. But the world? Much more skeptical. While not a formal policy paper, here are the major takeaways from Trump's announcement. Immediate ceasefire talks. Trump promises to call for an emergency summit within days of taking office. Territorial compromise, while details are vague. He alluded to realistic adjustments regarding Crimea and the Donbass region. No blank check to Ukraine. Trump criticized ongoing U.S. aid packages, saying they lacked oversight and prolonged the war. U.S. neutrality as leverage, he suggests, using America's influence over NATO and financial support to push both sides to the table. Critics call it naive. Supporters call it long overdue. Reactions have poured in from across the world. Ukraine's stance? President Zelensky hasn't responded directly but emphasized in a recent interview, "We will not negotiate under threats or pressure." Russia's take? Russian media highlighted Trump's announcement as a sign that American foreign policy may soon shift. European leaders? mixed reactions. Some see Trump's proposal as unrealistic. Others admit that after 2 years of war, fresh ideas are welcome, even controversial ones. At home in the US, the political divide was stark. Republican allies praised Trump's message as decisive leadership. Senator Josh Hawley tweeted, "We need strength, not endless spending. Trump's right, it's time to end the war." Meanwhile, Democrats were quick to push back. Senator Chris Murphy warned, "Trump is undermining Ukrainian sovereignty and playing into Putin's hands." Even some GOP leaders treaded carefully, noting the complexity of any ceasefire agreement. So, how likely is Trump's plan to succeed? International relations experts weighed in quickly. Some praised Trump's focus on direct diplomacy, a contrast to the often slow-moving bureaucracies of traditional negotiations. Others called his approach overly simplistic. Professor Elena Kovalchuk of Georgetown University said, "Ceasefires require trust. Right now, neither side trusts the other, and certainly not a third party with shifting alliances. Still, history shows that even controversial leaders can broker peace if the timing is right. So why is Trump making this announcement now?" 3 key reasons. First, 2024 election strategy. Trump is positioning himself as the global dealmaker again. Second, voter fatigue with foreign wars. Americans are growing weary of endless funding without clear outcomes. Third, a vacuum in leadership. With NATO and the EU divided, and the Biden administration juggling multiple global issues, Trump sees an opening. This isn't just campaign talk, it's a calculated signal to global players. For now, Trump remains out of office. But if he returns in 2025, his words today could shape tomorrow's policies. Whether or not his plan is viable, one thing is clear. This announcement has reignited the debate over how and when the war in Ukraine can end. And while peace may still feel far off, moments like this force the world to ask, are we doing enough to stop the suffering? Trump's bold declaration on the Russia-Ukraine conflict is just the beginning of a larger conversation. Can diplomacy succeed where weapons have failed? Will world leaders listen or resist? We'll be watching every development, every reaction, every consequence. Because in a world on edge, words like these can reshape history. Thanks for listening. Stay informed. Stay sharp.